Welcome back to the deep dive. Tonight, we are doing something a little different. We are turning down the lights, maybe grabbing a coffee or, something a little stronger.
Yeah.
And we are settling in for a conversation that sits right at that kind of weird, foggy intersection of heavy nostalgia and some slightly terrifying futurism.
It is a late night topic, for
Yeah.
sure. It's one of those subjects that starts with, hey, remember that game we loved?
Right.
And it ends with us, staring at the ceiling, wondering about the nature of free will.
Exactly. And I want to start with a very specific feeling. I think everyone listening, you know this feeling. It's the Steam Library Graveyard.
Oh, absolutely. The collection of guilt. I know it well.
Right. You buy these games, you have these huge hopes, you think, I am going to get lost in this world for 200 hours.
The fantasy, yeah.
You see the screenshots, you read the reviews,
Yeah.
you buy the deluxe edition with the art book you'll never look at.
Mm.
You play for maybe 2 nights, late into the morning, but then life happens.
It always does.
Yeah. You trade those late night sessions for early morning meetings, the controller collects dust, and the game just sits there judging you.
It's interesting you call it a graveyard. Because for a lot of people, I think it's not just about time management. It's about engagement.
What do you mean?
We buy the fantasy of immersion, but the reality often feels, well, hollow.
We do, and that's the friction we're exploring today. Because I think the reason we bounce off these games, despite the graphics being incredible, despite the worlds being massive, is that something has been broken in gaming for about 20 years.
It's the promise that never quite got kept.
Exactly. We have these beautiful worlds. The lighting is photorealistic. The water physics are mind-blowing. You can see the individual pores on a character's face.
The fidelity is insane.
But the worlds, they don't remember you.
That is the core of it. We are talking about amnesia in game design. We've perfected the simulation of light, but we have completely stalled on the simulation of social memory.
So our mission for this deep dive is to explore a concept called karma as code.
We are looking at a stack of sources today that argue we are finally moving beyond better graphics and into the era of better memory.
And we aren't just talking about better NPCs or smarter quest givers. I mean, that's part of it, but we're talking about something much more complex.
Go on.
We are talking about autonomous swarms, agents that don't just stand there, but actually hunt you down for crimes you committed 40 hours ago.
Which sounds cool, but also incredibly stressful.
Very stressful. And if we do our job right today, we're also going to get to the darker implication of all this.
Okay.
Because if the game is learning from you and remembering you, there is a very uncomfortable question about who actually owns the data created by your playstyle.
Yeah, that part gave me chills when I was reading through the notes. But okay, before we get to the existential dread, let's unpack the problem. Let's talk about this broken promise of open worlds.
Let's do it.
So, looking at the history here, our sources point to Morrowind as the starting line.
Now, I have to admit, I missed the boat on Morrowind back in the day, but I know it's legendary. The notes mention something that sounds terrifying to a modern gamer, a physical paper notebook.
It sounds like homework, doesn't it?
It really does. Why is this cited as a good thing? I don't get it.
Because it represents a specific type of friction that forced immersion. If you stepped off that boat in Seyda, you realize very, very quickly that the game did not care if you got lost.
No hand-holding.
Zero hand-holding.
Yeah.
There was no minimap. There was no glowing golden trail on the ground leading you to the next objective.
Right. Today, we have what UI designers call GPS syndrome. You spend half the game looking at the radar in the corner of the screen rather than the actual world.
Exactly. In Morrowind, that wasn't an option. An NPC would say, go south until you see the weird rock that looks like a fist, then turn left at the dead tree.
Oh, wow.
And if you didn't write that down, or if you weren't paying active, focused attention, the game wasn't going to remind you.
So you had to be the memory.
You had to be the memory.
Right.
Because the system wasn't.
See, on one hand, that sounds incredibly tedious. But on the other hand, it forced you to actually engage with the world, right?
That's the key.
You couldn't just autopilot. You had to look at the rocks. You had to look at the trees. You had to know what a fist-shaped rock looked like.
It created immersion through attention. The world felt real because you had to navigate it like a real person. But as technology advanced, we moved away from that.
We optimized for convenience.
We did. We moved towards Skyrim.
Skyrim, the masterpiece. I mean, dragons, shouts, that music. You can't talk about open worlds without talking about Skyrim.
It is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Visually and conceptually, for sure. But it is also where the furniture with voice lines problem became really, really obvious.
Furniture with voice lines, that is such a savage description.
It's harsh, but I think it's accurate. Think about the source materials example. You're in the town square. A dragon attacks. It's chaos. Fire everywhere. People are screaming.
The whole 9 yards?
You, the Dragonborn, you climb onto the roof, you shout the beast out of the sky, you slay it with a magical axe, you absorb its soul in a giant vortex of magical energy. It is a god-tier event. And then you walk over to the shopkeeper who watched the whole thing. He's standing maybe 2 feet away.
Right there.
And he looks at you with these dead eyes and asks if you need to buy some potions.
No!
Or worse, he complains that someone stole his sweet roll.
Zero awe.
Zero awe. Zero recognition. The event happened visually. The dragon skeleton is right there, clipping through a cart. But behaviorally, the world forgot it instantly.
The NPC's state just reset.
Back to idle merchant.
That is the meme, right?
Yeah.
I used to be an adventurer like you, then I took an arrow in the knee.
Right. That line became a joke because every single guard said it. It represented the hollowness.
Yeah.
No matter what you did, you could be the savior of the world, the leader in the Thieves Guild, the Archmage.
Yeah.
The guards still treat you like a generic nobody.
It breaks the immersion so hard. It's like, do you know who I am? I just ate a dragon's soul.
And the game's code just says, no, I don't know who you are. You are player character X, state 01.
Even Breath of the Wild gets called out here. And look, I will defend Zelda to my dying breath, but this source makes a really good point about the Blood Moon.
The Blood Moon mechanic.
Yeah.
It's brilliant for gameplay loops, right? It respawns enemies so the world doesn't become empty.
Sure, it's practical.
But narratively, it is a system reset. It is the world literally saying, everything you just did, all those camps you cleared, it didn't happen. We are wiping the slate clean.
The world forgets your impact.
That is the core argument our expert analysis is making. For 20 years, the industry has perfected the visual open world. The sunsets are real. The ray tracing is real. But they have failed the behavioral open world. The player remembers everything, every struggle, every victory. But the world has total amnesia.
So we are dealing with beautiful, high-definition worlds that have the memory span of a goldfish.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
And that disconnect is why we get bored. We stop caring about the world because the world doesn't care about us.
Okay, so that's the problem. Let's talk about the solution. The sources call this karma as code. And to explain it, we have this perfect metaphor involving a horse in Red Dead Redemption.
This is a great scenario because it illustrates the difference between difficulty and consequence.
So set the scene for us. I want to really, live in this hypothetical for a minute.
Okay, imagine the next Red Dead game. You're in Chapter 1. It's the tutorial phase, essentially. You are broke, you're in the middle of nowhere, the wind is howling, and you need to get somewhere fast.
Standard stuff.
You see a horse tied up outside a cabin. The owner isn't looking. He's inside. Maybe you can hear him singing off-key.
So I take the horse. I need it. It's a survival choice.
You steal the horse. It's a minor crime. In the current state of gaming, let's say GTA or current Red Dead, what happens?
I probably get a wanted meter, maybe a little red circle on the minimap.
Right.
If I ride away fast enough, the meter drains, the music calms down, and I'm in the clear. Maybe I have a $5 bounty on my head that I can pay off at a post office later.
Exactly. It's a database flag. It's a number. And once you pay the fine or wait out the timer, the world forgets. The slate is clean.
But in the Karma as Code version...
In this version, the game doesn't just flag you. It spawns an agent.
An agent.
A specific autonomous AI entity. Let's call him the tracker.
And this tracker isn't just a generic NPC. He doesn't just pop into existence behind me.
No, that's spawn closet design. That's the old way. This tracker is a persistent agent. He spawns, say, at the sheriff's office in the nearest town, and he has a goal written into his logic stack. Find the horse thief.
So he starts looking for real.
He starts investigating, and this is key. He investigates even when you aren't there. He rides to the cabin. He uses vision processing to ask the game engine what happened. Maybe a witness saw you ride south.
The tracker rides south.
He does.
Okay, so he's actively hunting me on the map, even if I'm miles away doing a fishing minigame.
Precisely. And here's where the AI gets creepy. It uses pattern recognition. Let's say as a player, you have a habit. You always hunt deer and sell the pelts in the town of Valentine because you like the butcher there.
I do like that butcher in Valentine. He's nice to me.
Or maybe you always sleep at a specific saloon because you like the poker game. The tracker's AI analyzes your gameplay history.
My save file.
Your whole history. It queries the local NPCs. Have you seen a guy selling deer pelts? Eventually, the information network leads him to Valentine.
Wow.
He calculates a probability. The target is 80% likely to appear in Valentine within the next 48 in-game hours.
So he doesn't chase me, he ambushes me.
He camps you. He waits.
So fast forward, I'm in Chapter 3. That horse theft was 40 hours of gameplay ago.
Ancient history.
I don't even have that horse anymore. I drove it off a cliff by accident, probably. I've saved widows, I've robbed trains, I've lived a whole life since then.
You've forgotten. But the tracker hasn't. The code never forgets. You're in Valentine, selling your pelts, feeling safe. The sun is setting, it's a beautiful evening, and suddenly a guy walks up to you. No red dot on the map. No dramatic box music cue.
Just a guy.
Just leans against the post and says, "That was a nice horse."
Oh, wow. That gives me actual goosebumps.
And now you have a dynamic confrontation. This isn't a scripted boss fight where you have to hit X to dodge.
It's a conversation.
You have choices. Do you pay him off with interest? Do you try to talk your way out of it using a persuasion system? Do you draw your gun right there in the market? Do you run?
And if I run, he probably just keeps hunting me.
Exactly. The agent state updates to pursuit. This isn't the game scaling the difficulty because you leveled up.
Sure.
This is a direct consequence of a choice you made when you were a nobody in Chapter 1.
That is a world that remembers.
It is.
It completely changes the way you play. Because right now, in games, I'm a sociopath. I am. I steal everything that isn't nailed down because why not?
There's no real cost.
But if I knew there was a tracker out there, if I knew that stealing that one apple might haunt me for 50 hours, I might think twice.
It introduces paranoia. And paranoia is a very powerful emotion for immersion. It makes the world feel dangerous and alive, rather than just a playground for your amusement.
Okay, so that's one agent. But the sources go deeper. They talk about the swarm. This is where my brain started to melt a little bit.
Right.
We aren't just talking about one guy following you. We are talking about a network.
Right. Moving from a single NPC to a coordinated ecosystem. The source material identifies 3 specific archetypes that work together.
Okay,
The tracker, the herald, and the fixer.
let's break these down. We know the tracker. That's the hunter. The spine, you called it.
The tracker is the spine. Persistent, patient. Its job is to create that sense that you cannot outrun your past. Simple, but effective.
Then we have the herald. This is the reputation engine, right? But how is this different from just having a reputation low stat in my menu?
Because the herald is an active agent. It's a person. Think of it like a bard or a town crier, but weaponized.
Weaponized. I like that.
When you commit a crime or do a good deed, the herald physically travels to the next settlement.
So the news travels at the speed of the horse? It's not instant.
Exactly. If you rob a caravan on the road to, say, Whiterun, the herald rides ahead of you. The bandit is coming.
So by the time I get there.
By the time you get to the trading post, the shops are closed, the guards are on high alert, and prices have doubled because you're a known risk.
But wait, the notes mentioned a nuance here. It's not just about punishment. The herald might show up with terms.
Right. This is where it gets interesting. Imagine you're a notorious thief. The herald might approach you on the road and say, "Look, the Merchants Guild knows you're coming. We know you burn wagons.
They know my MO.
If you agree to bypass their next shipment, they'll pay you a protection fee."
That is so cool. So your reputation arrives before you do, and it opens up new gameplay options. It's not just everyone hates you.
It's everyone fears you and wants to negotiate.
It turns reputation from a static number in a menu into an actual narrative mechanic that you have to deal with.
Exactly.
Okay, but the third one, the fixer. This is the one that really got me. This feels like something out of a gangster movie or John Wick.
The fixer is the twist. Because in most games, enemies want to kill you, or they want to arrest you. The fixer doesn't want to kill you.
What does he want?
The fixer wants to own you.
Explain the scenario here. I really want to understand how this works in practice.
Okay. Let's say you botch a stealth mission. You kill a guard in an alleyway behind a fancy hotel. You leave the body there. In a normal game, what happens?
The cops find it, a big fight starts, and I probably just reload my last save file because I failed the stealth check.
Right. The save scum strategy. We all do it. In this system, the fixer finds the body before the cops do.
Oh.
He cleans the scene. He disposes of the evidence. He scrubs the blood. He makes the problem go away completely.
Wait, pause. That sounds great. That sounds like the game is making it easier for me. Oh, I messed up, but the magic butler fixed it. Why is this a bad thing?
The magic butler. No, see, that's the trap. The fixer isn't doing you a favor. He's acquiring an asset.
No, I'm the asset.
You are the asset.
How so?
Think about the economy of the game. He keeps the receipts. He keeps the murder weapon, he logs the time and place in his own memory stream, and then he tracks you down.
Ah, here comes the squeeze.
He approaches you in a quiet tavern a week later and says, I cleaned up your mess, I have the bloody dagger, I know it was you, and I can give this to the City Watch right now if I want.
He's blackmailing the player in the game.
He is leveraging your mistake. He says, I won't turn you in, but in exchange, I need a cut of your next 3 jobs. Or, I need you to do a favor for my boss. I need you to go intimidate this shopkeeper.
That is wildly complex. It turns the game into this web of obligations and debt. You're not just fighting monsters anymore.
You're managing your own criminal debt.
And if you refuse, or if you miss a payment,
The evidence accidentally finds its way to a detective. And suddenly, you have a bounty hunter, a tracker on your tail.
so these agents interact. The fixer can trigger the tracker if you don't pay. The herald spreads the news if the tracker catches you.
It's a consequence engine. It's no longer about, is the game on hard mode? It's about, how deep of a hole have I dug for myself? You are playing a social survival game on top of the action game.
It sounds incredible. Honestly, it sounds like the game of my dreams. But it also sounds impossible. Like, is this just sci-fi dreaming? Is this some concept artist's blog post, or is this actually buildable?
That is the million-dollar question.
Mm-hmm.
And usually with tech this advanced, the answer is wait 10 years. But in this case, the answer is it's already running.
What? Let's get to the proof then, because we aren't just theorizing here. There is hard data.
There is. We need to talk about Stanford and the basement.
The basement sounds like a horror movie, but we'll get there. Let's start with Stanford, the Smallville experiment. I remember seeing headlines about this, but I didn't dig in.
This was a landmark paper published in 2023 called Generative Agents. Stanford researchers created a digital simulation of a small town, think The Sims, or Stardew Valley graphics.
Okay, very simple.
Very simple 2D sprites. They populated it with 25 AI agents.
And these weren't scripted. They didn't have a list of go to work at 9, come home at 5 instructions.
No scripts. That's the key. They gave each agent a memory stream, basically a log of everything they experience written in natural language, and a basic identity. You are John, you like gardening, you are married to Mary.
And then they just let him go.
They let him go. They hooked them up to a large language model and just let them simulate a day.
And what happened?
The famous example is the Valentine's Day party. The researchers gave one agent, just one, a character named Isabella, the goal of throwing a party.
They didn't tell anyone else.
No, they didn't program a party event or anything. Isabella just decided she wanted to throw a party.
Okay, so the player didn't trigger a quest. Isabella just had an idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she started walking around the town. She told her friend. Her friend said, oh, that's a great idea. I'll tell my husband.
And the information just spread virally through the town.
It spread through the social network. But here is the amazing part. The agents started checking their own schedules. Some said, oh, I can't make it. I have to work at the pharmacy that day.
No way.
Others said, I'll be there. They started planning. They coordinated decorations with each other. And on the day of the party, the agents who said they would come actually showed up.
On their own?
They had conversations. They remembered who they met at the party. All of it.
All without a single line of code written by a developer saying, if event party triggered, then NPC go to location.
Precisely. It was emergent social behavior based purely on memory and language. Stanford proved the architecture works. They proved that if you give agents memory and the ability to reflect on that memory, they will organize themselves.
Okay, but that's a 2D simulation in a lab. It's pixel art. It's easy to do that when you don't have to render 4K textures and handle physics.
That's a fair point.
What about real games? That's where the basement comes in, I assume.
This is where we look at the modding community. Specifically, a project called Mantella.
Mantella. Sounds like a spell from Harry Potter.
It might as well be magic.
Yeah.
It was created by a modder who goes by Art from the Machine. And this isn't a theoretical paper. This is a mod available right now for Skyrim and Fallout 4. You can download it tonight.
And what does it actually do? How does it change Skyrim?
It connects the game to a modern AI tech stack. It uses speech recognition, so you can talk to NPCs with your real voice through your mic.
Wow.
It uses large language models to generate their responses in real time. And it uses voice synthesis to speak back to you in the character's voice.
So it turns every NPC into a chatbot? Is that it?
It's so much more than a chatbot, because a chatbot just responds to the last thing you said. Mantella gives them memory and awareness. It gives them a vector database of their history with you.
Give me an example. How does this look in gameplay?
The source mentions the shopkeeper grudge. If you insult a shopkeeper in Mantella, Say you walk into Bellathor's General Goods and call him a cheat, and then you leave.
Yeah.
If you come back 40 hours of gameplay later, he still dislikes you. He remembers the insult. He might refuse to trade with you, or his prices will be higher just for you.
That sounds like our tracker concept coming to life, but on a smaller scale.
It is. But it goes further. The mod adds vision. The NPCs can see what the player sees. So if you pick up a weird skull in a dungeon and hold it up, an NPC companion can comment on it. Whoa! Put that down. That thing looks cursed.
That is wild. It's context-aware. It's not just a pre-canned line.
And my favorite feature, which I think is the real game changer, gossip.
Gossip.
If you leave two NPCs alone at an inn and you just sit within earshot, they will start having unscripted conversations with each other.
About what? The weather?
About the world. About the Civil War. And about you.
They talk about me.
Did you hear what the Dragonborn did in Whiterun? Yeah, I heard he stole a cheese wheel. What a loser.
Look, that is incredible. They are talking about you behind your back. That makes the world feel so much bigger than just NPC waits for player to press A.
Over 2,000 NPCs in Skyrim have been given generated backstories and this persistent memory by this one mod. And here's the kicker. The modders crossed the finish line while the industry was still debating if it was even possible.
That brings us to the conflict. Section 5 of our outline, boardrooms versus basements. Because you have these guys in their basements, passion projects, working for free, running on caffeine, building the future. And then you have the giant corporations. What are they doing?
Well, we have a very telling perspective from Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two. They own Rockstar, so they own GTA and Red Dead.
The big dogs, the ones with $1 billion budgets to do this right.
Zelnick has gone on record discussing AI, but when he talks about it, he doesn't talk about emergent storytelling. He doesn't talk about consequence engines or swarm mechanics. He talks about efficiency.
Efficiency. That's corporate code for saving money.
He views AI as a tool to cut costs. Why pay 100 writers to write ambient dialogue for NPCs when an AI can generate for pennies? It's all about improving margins.
So the suits see this revolutionary technology as a way to fire people and save money on development costs.
Basically, they are looking at the bottom line. How can we make the same game cheaper? They want to automate the asset pipeline, not reinvent the experience.
Meanwhile, the basement view.
The modders aren't worrying about margins. They're worrying about immersion. They're building this because they want to play it.
Right.
They aren't waiting for a budget approval meeting or a focus group test. They are just writing code because they're passionate.
It's such a classic dynamic. The innovation happens on the fringe where people are passionate while the center is just trying to optimize the spreadsheet.
The basement dwellers didn't wait for a CEO's approval. That's the line from the source that really sticks with me. They just built the future because they were impatient for it to arrive.
So let's dream a little bit. If we take this basement technology, this swarm intelligence, this memory, and we actually apply it to the big budgets, if the soups actually let the engineers cook, what does the future look like? The sources point to 2 games, Elder Scrolls 6 and, surprisingly, Minecraft.
Let's start with Elder Scrolls 6. Bethesda has the budget. They have the lore, but they need this system badly.
Imagine the Dark Brotherhood.
Exactly. In Skyrim, the Dark Brotherhood sends an assassin after you every so often. It's a generic guy in leather armor. He runs at you, you kill him, you find a note that says, kill this guy, and life goes on.
It's a minor inconvenience. It's boring.
In the Elder Scrolls 6 version, with a swarm system, if you cross the Brotherhood, you are being hunted by coordinated networks.
So the tracker.
A tracker finds you. A herald poisons your reputation in cities, so no inn will let you sleep there.
Wow.
A fixer bribes the guards to look the other way when the hit squad finally arrives to take you out.
Faction choices would finally matter. You aren't just joining a club to get cool armor. You are a target. You'd have to actually hide. You'd have to wear a disguise.
It creates a world where you have to look over your shoulder. It brings the tension back to the open world.
Now, Minecraft. This is the sleeper pick for me. Why Minecraft? It doesn't even have a story. It's just blocks.
That's exactly why it fits.
Yeah.
Minecraft is pure emergence. It's a sandbox. Right now, the villagers are, well, let's be honest, they're idiots.
They're very dumb.
They walk into walls, they say, They have zero survival instinct.
I usually have to build fences just to keep them from wandering into lava pits.
Imagine if the villagers had memory. Imagine you grief a village. You burn down a house or steal their crops, or you hit a villager by accident.
I do that all the time. It's part of the fun.
In the new version, the villagers remember. They stop trading with you. But then it gets worse. They send a runner to the next village over.
With a message.
The player is dangerous.
So when I get to the next village looking for emeralds to trade.
They've already built walls. They've crafted iron golems specifically to fight you. They have set TNT traps around the perimeter of their town.
Oh my God.
The world physically changes and socially adapts based on how you treated it.
That turns Minecraft into a horror survival game, basically. Or a war game.
Or a diplomatic one. Maybe you have to bring gifts to earn their trust back. Maybe you have to help them build a bridge to prove you aren't a monster. It adds a whole social layer to a game that is currently just about resource extraction.
It sounds amazing. I want to play that game. I want that depth.
But,
Yeah.
and here's the pivot, there's a section 7 in our notes.
The turn.
And this is where we have to stop smiling and start thinking. Because all this memory comes at a price.
The uncomfortable question.
Who owns you?
This is the part that usually gets glossed over in the tech demos. Everyone talks about how cool the AI is, but nobody talks about what the AI is taking from you.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The source argues that when we play these games, we aren't just playing. We are working for free. We are labeling data. Think about it. When you interact with a smart agent, when you try to outsmart that tracker or negotiate with that fixer, you are providing training data for the model.
The model watches what I do. It learns from my choices.
It learns, oh, humans tend to hide in this specific bush when they're being chased. Humans tend to lie about their location when asked. Humans prefer to pay the bribe rather than fight.
Every choice refines the AI.
You are teaching it how to be smarter. You are its teacher.
So my 500 hours of Red Dead is actually 500 hours of unpaid labor training an AI model on human psychology and evasive tactics.
In a sense, yes. You are a stress tester for the neural net. But it gets darker. What happens to that model after it's been trained on millions of players?
That's the fear.
Right now, that data just makes the next patch better. But what happens when that agent logic gets licensed? What if the AI that learned how to hunt you down in a video game gets sold to an enterprise security company?
Or we're a surveillance company.
Or the military? Exactly. You are training an agent on how to predict human evasive behavior. Your specific playstyle, the way you solve problems, the way you lie, the way you fight, your reaction time, your risk tolerance.
It's like a fingerprint.
It is a behavioral fingerprint.
And that fingerprint is unique to me.
It is remarkably unique. And it is a product, a very valuable one.
But don't I own that? It's my gameplay. It's my choices.
Have you read an ELA, an end-user license agreement lately?
Not once in my life. I just scroll to the bottom and click accept. Everyone does.
They are pages and pages of dense legal jargon that basically say, we own everything you do in this software. We own the telemetry, we own the data, we own the derivatives.
So there's no legal precedent for this.
There is no landmark legal case that says, I own my playstyle.
Your karma is becoming their code. That line from the notes hits hard.
It does. We are pouring our personality into these engines to make them fun, but we're also pouring our personality into a database that we don't control and can't see.
It's the classic, if the product is free, you are the product thing, but applied to a game I paid $70 for.
It's, you paid $70 to be the product.
Exhales. Okay, that is heavy. That definitely kills the vibe a little bit.
It's the double-edged sword of the future. The convenience and immersion comes at a cost.
Let's try to bring this back to the ground before we spiral into total paranoia.
Right.
Because despite the data dread, despite the risk of training a Terminator, I still want it. I can't help it.
Of course.
I want the world that remembers.
It's the natural evolution of gaming. We can't stay in the era of amnesia forever. Once you've tasted a game where your choices actually matter, you can't go back to the furniture with voice lines.
I want to steal that horse in Chapter 1. I want to forget about it, and I want to be terrified in Chapter 3 when the consequences finally catch up. I want that feeling of, oh no, what have I done?
You want a world that watches you the way you watch it.
Yeah.
A relationship.
Exactly. I want the relationship to be two-way. I want the friction. I want the consequences.
And the good news is, the tech is there. Stanford proved the architecture. Mantella is proving it works right now on Nexus mods.
It exists.
We aren't waiting for a breakthrough in quantum computing. We just need the industry to wire it up.
The question is just, who is going to give it to us first? Is it going to be the AAA studio with the shareholders to please, or is it going to be the kid in the basement with a vision?
Well, the industry is watching the margins. They are looking at spreadsheets. But the innovation that's happening elsewhere.
It's happening in the basements.
It always does.
Well, that is a lot to chew on. We went from Morrowind notebooks to blackmailing AI butlers to the legal rights of our own behavior. It's a lot.
It's a deep dive for sure.
If you want to dive even deeper into the references, if you want to read the Stanford paper or get the links for the Mantella mod so you can try it yourself, you need to check out the full written version of this.
Absolutely. Subscribe to AI Frankly on Substack. That's where you get all the receipts. We break down the code, the papers, and the history.
You can also find AI Frankly on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Like, subscribe, leave a review. We are all about no hype, just receipts.
Check it out. It's worth it.
So as you go back to your Steam library tonight and you look at those games collecting dust, just ask yourself, what if they were watching you back?
And remember the most important lesson from today.
What's that?
Watch the basements, not the boardrooms.
See you next time.